Enhance.
Too.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the season finale of Last of Us. I almost said series, but luckily we're picked up for 2 seasons, maybe 3. I'm just Travis B. Stone. I guess I'm the clown prince of podcast, Travis, and I'll go with the OG classic because I couldn't think of anything, so I'm joined by...
End of the road, Kirklin Patzer.
And then Hardcaster Dylan Muss.
I'm the Vegisaurus, Taylor Field.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. It has been 9 long weeks, month and change, and we're here at the finale. If you, for some reason, have listened to anything, you can go back and check out. We reviewed every single episode of this. We can go back and check out this last week. We have reviews for Scream and 65. If you're also a Last of Us watcher and video game player, check out SideQuest. I think is Taylor on this week?
Taylor's on this week, so go check out that. Next week, me and Taylor will be reviewing Shazam, and there'll be some newscasts in between and lots of retrospectives on the Patreon. Go over there this weekend. Not this week, next, whatever. Yeah, I guess this upcoming weekend soon you'll be getting another mass drop of. You're going to be getting... more X-Men, 2 Evil Deads, lots of good stuff. So a big shout out to our Patreon producers, Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Joshua Wright, and Jack Grant. Jack Grant, as I talked to him today, will be doing his retro in April, March, or May. We're going to be doing Office Space. So there's a little tease. Okay.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. But if you want to be a Patreon producer, you get to, vote on a lot of polls, career content. And the first time you join, you get to pick any film or project or something like that for us to retro, and we do that. So Taylor, can they find that all?
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find that with your internet connection. Pardon my throat.
Grover's here. Hey kids, you want to learn?
GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerse casts our Twitter. GeekVerse is our Facebook.
Yeah, everything you need to know is down below. Where to find us, the feeds, everything, audio, video, our Discord, all a good time. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to see you, Mr. Toka there. We are here. Kirklin Patzer, let's get your thoughts. Finale, last episode of the season. What did you think?
I thought this finale, leading up to the finale, I didn't really know what else we had to cover because I don't have like the game to reference. I didn't know how much we were going to skip over to get there. I didn't know really what the conclusion was even going to be, so it was definitely a unfamiliar ground for me. And I must say, like, overall, I feel like overall I am a little bit unsatisfied with this finale. I'm excited to talk spoilers and get, I don't know, a basis of like comparison for what kind of the game finished off the story, because in this it just seemed like I have questions that need answered, and to be in this situation where like, yeah, we are getting another season, but like that's probably like 2 years away now. It's just I don't know, I feel a little bit unsatisfied with it, but the whole show overall I think was still really good. Great performances from Bella Ramsey and Pedro. They were just super, super standout, and their moments were really, really good. And this finale had like a lot of moments with those two, so I'm kind of like mixed because I feel like I wanted to get other things, but also I'm happy with what we got. So I think just maybe like the overall length of the season kind of diminishes it a little bit, because I was maybe wanting to focus in other places where, in hindsight, like we just spent some on-screen time in other places that I feel like I didn't necessarily need, but maybe I'm an outlier in that sense. But yeah, overall, I still think the show is really, really good. But this finale was definitely not my favorite episode by any means.
Okay. Let's go to Mr. Field. What did you think about this finale?
So, I'm going to try and say this in a non-spoilers way. Oh, my goodness.
Do you want to go next, or
pizza
sure?
and the ice cream sandwich in my throat still.
They're just stuck there, just like gurgling.
Grover's eating it.
You should digest the pizza before you do the ice cream.
And not at the same time.
Digested.
It's like a lubricant.
Digested, but there's some residuals stuck in the
my
throat
God.
cavity there.
Some fucking cordyceps going on in there. Huh?
Cordyceps, yeah.
They're in the brain.
So I'm the kind of guy. It's like, okay, we're getting to a finale. We're gonna have fucking explosions everywhere. This has to be a big bang. I want the bee's knees. Now, in the instance where we have like Loki, and we have not really any of that in the finale. We just had a dialogue and
conversation.
I thought, wow, I actually really like this, and this is new for me. This is uncharted territories that I was never really thinking I would ever latch onto and enjoy as for a finale. And like get Game of Thrones, all these shows. Usually it has some big like piece de resistance, and then it has like the cool off episode at the end. In this case, they were kind of like, they said about it was like a big episode last week to a degree, as we discussed. So check out that review. But like when we get to this this finale, I feel like there were certain things that I was kind of hoping for and a little bit more explanation, but it just felt so over and done and quick. And especially when it just rolled credits at the end, I thought, wow, I feel like there is things that we didn't really cover. And I knew that what was happening here was going to happen because I know this much, at least in the games, because I think we've even talked about it, Travis, and stuff in the past. But, yeah, I just wish that... I don't know. I'm not sure what I wished differently, and I don't feel justified in saying, like, I wish that things in this episode were different because it's staying true, to my knowledge, to basically what they did with the game. So it's weird. I don't feel like I can dislike it, but I would have liked a little more pizzazz or something like that, and then maybe a little bit longer or something. But yeah, it's weird. I feel caught between a rock and a hard place right now.
Mr. Muss.
Yeah, funnily enough, I feel like I'm going to be the opposite here, which I have been in the last few weeks, where I'm like been more negative on this thing.
This is why I left you for last set of these two. I'm like, oh, well, these two might be more positive, and then John's going to come around.
I know. Yeah, it's the last few episodes. Not that I'm negative. I almost feel like almost a bit of a devil's advocate viewer. There's just like, it wasn't necessarily going the way I wanted to, but the quality was still good. It just wasn't what I was wanting. But I feel like they just wrapped it up like expertly in this finale here. We talked about last week, like, oh God, only 40 minutes? There's like a lot to do. Like, how's that going to go? But to me, it felt like an hour 20. Like, it really, they used their time well. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. This is one of those things where over the years, I've known what goes on with this ending. It's very controversial. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do. And I think from what my knowledge is, I could be totally wrong on this, I feel like they made a couple minor adjustments to make the ending maybe a bit more fulfilling, and maybe even just like seeing criticism for the game's ending for all these years. And like, okay, we can make a couple modifications, but ultimately it's still the same thing. And for me, it like totally worked. And I was very happy about that. And yeah, so I really enjoyed it. It's really put a good bow on things. I still think, to Kirkland's point, like it's not that's a cliffhanger ending or something like that, but they definitely leave it open in a sense where like you're not really satisfied completely with the arc of what's going on with these characters, and you like immediately want to see more and find out in a way that's good, but also like, oh yeah, I gotta wait 2 years before we get some more of this dialogue here. So I really enjoyed it. I think for me for this show to have risen up to that highest caliber tier for me, I think I probably needed a couple more episodes. Once again, I don't want to repeat too much, but like take that 3-month time skip. If I got like 2 or 3 more episodes there with just Joel and Ellie going on adventures, and I would have personally wanted a couple more, not that I need explosions in my finales like Taylor, but I wanted like a bit more action and a bit more with, specifically just I wanted to see more of the infected, and I feel like we didn't actually really see them much in this show at all. And I would have loved a couple more interactions, more like tense sequences going off against some of them. So once again, in that 3-month time span, we could have had some of that fun stuff. But I understand that obviously shows cannot have an infinite budget unless you're Rings of Power, and then you have all the money in the world. But ultimately, I guess with what they did, I think they did a pretty good job. Yes, a couple storylines I think could have been taken out for more of that stuff for me personally. But overall, I am left pretty satisfied with the show now that we're at the finish line.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun episode because I'm right where Dylan. I'm much more prompt for this because I'm that side. Like Dylan's right. Ever since that ending happened, it's been a very big debate. Both games have that and I think that's a good thing about that is whether you're on one side or the other, and even whether the issue or whether it even works as a story thing. I've always been on the side that it works as a story thing for me. So I'm already biased coming as far as like, well, if it follows a similar path, I'm going to enjoy that because I enjoyed that in the game. But I thought it was expertly done because I feel the show and the game, and I'll wait till we get in spoilers, yes, they're tackling the same issue and the same finale point, I'll say, but it's much harder to do when you're doing a video game version and a TV show version. It's very different. I think the game in this instance gets to do things a little more easier because of just certain ways they can frame things. I'm trying not to be a spoiler. Where the show, you have to kind of invoke that. You're not playing a character, you're watching a character. And I think all the actors did a great job of invoking that. I think it is a very, very, I've always thought, very ballsy ending, very dark and very just like, wow, they went there. It's always type of one of those endings where I think we talk about that when we review movies and games and shows. We're like, oh, imagine this would happen, but like, oh yeah, they don't do that. They don't do like Last of Us was that game when I put down. I was like, man, like I was waiting for the dream sequence to kick in, something to change. Like, nope, this was the ending of the story. You're like, wow, and it was fun to watch Emily's reaction to it and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought it was great. I think that they tried, because I think I agree. My only criticism has been that you could have, this was 9 episodes. I think you could have got like a 10 out of 12, even a 10, but I think 12. But I think they did a good job in the beginning of this episode for Dylan's right. Like we skipped over those 3 months. I feel like they're trying their best to, okay, we're going to show you a lot of this. And I think I don't know so much the script. I really do think it's the actors. They almost make me feel like I haven't missed the 3 months, because they're just so good at doing their job and so good at building this connection. So no, I thought it's a fantastic episode, fantastically done. Anything more, I gotta wait till we're in spoilers because it's hard for me to stress it. But I think they wrapped it well, and like Dylan said, they did add some things, and I think they add things in a way where the game ends much more abruptly, where there's a little carry on, and I feel like it's a good setup for more to come because it's already obviously it's confirmed and stuff like that. So they kind of get, and I feel like I don't care what they say. I know we got announced season 2, but I feel like they're probably pretty confident they're going to make a season 2 of this game, especially with already some of the things we talked about a few episodes ago, right? They're introducing characters that weren't in the first game that are in the second game. I think whether it's HBO, the crew, that okay, we're going to get more, and that's a good thing. You can kind of do that. So yeah, and I think it was a good pacing. I think like Dylan said, I felt like an hour because it's just the intensity of it. But anything else you guys want to say non-spoilers?
I don't think so.
All right, let's jump into it. So if you haven't seen it, the episode will be here waiting. Come back at any point, take our first ad break, and then we'll be right back. And we're back. So I don't know where to start. I don't know if we say the ending. I don't know if we jump full feet,
Well, I'd love to hear, Travis, to your memory, like what the changes were in this, like to the ending from the game. I'm just so curious on a couple of details. Like in the game, you do not get like knocked out and then wake up in the hospital, or
no.
Okay.
And even if that happened, I don't think it was tied to this. It is very much you get to the hospital, they explain the situation, and it's like Allie's gonna go have some tests and stuff like that, and then that happens, and then I think it's like a minor change, but the other change is the game, again, to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure it just ends in the car. When she turns her back to him, it just ends in the car. They added that extended like talking sequence and things like that. But even then with the adding, I'd have to think about that almost feels like that could be a scene for, if people don't know, it's not a big spoiler. In Last of Us 2, they have flashbacks to stuff that happened in the first game. So I feel like it might have been lifting some stuff from the second game and putting it in the end of this. So I think there's minor things like that. But like you said, the end result is the same of, hey, this is the situation. It's going to go down like this. And then the massacre happens and stuff like that. So
yeah, to me, when I was watching it, obviously not knowing exactly how the details go down, to me, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's a change from what they did in the game. And I think it was done really well because it kind of throws Joel off balance very much so, where he wakes up in this unfamiliar place, doesn't know where she is, and like thinking about what's going to happen, he's just trying to piece it together of like, is she going to survive what's going on here, and finding out that, it's going to be a one-way trip, essentially. The fact that he like never got to have a moment with her, say goodbye. Their last moment together was like getting gassed in the street. Like to me, like that feels like it would help justify the ending a lot more than maybe a bit of the whiplash that people experienced in the game. So little changes like that, it seemed to go a long way. Obviously, I'm extrapolating a bit since I don't know all the details from the game, but like little things like that can really go a long way. It's cool to see.
Well, and I think that's a good point, man, because it almost feels like he's we're fully past we're fully past the point where I love the shift of, in episode 1 and 2, you have Ellie trying to get personal with Joel and he's shutting her off, right? And we kind of get this switch where Joel's all, but we'll play a game, we'll teach you guitar, like he's trying to get all personal, and Ellie has this wall up. And then I like finally when the draft happens, they accept it, they have this conversation, and it's kind of like, hey, they're both on board, whatever happens in here, they're gonna go back and live their lives and stuff like that. So the fact that almost gets taken away from him again, very similar to his daughter, right? In the sense of some people show up and take something from him. So now when they're fully bond, they're fully on the same page, they're both emotionally connected to one each other, boom, knocked out, separated. And even then they're just explaining this stuff of, she was knocked out, she was put there, do you think she'd want to choose this? Because he's trying to make that point of, well, you still would have to talk to her, but it's a high tense situation. So I agree with you. I like that, and it adds to the intensity of it's very snappy and quick, and I like that for Fireflies too, because it's almost like that's something the package is here and they got to act desperate just in case something changes. You know, like what if they've changed their mind or something? And they're kind of acting like animals in that sense, if they see food and they're just going to grab it, because what if she dies right here? What if, you know, so I do like that. So
was the other element to it where they're being pretty cagey about what they're doing to Ellie, and the fact that the Fireflies know that they're going to have to kill her to do this, is that something that they hold back from both Ellie and Joel like the whole time in the game?
in the whole time, yes, they do. The game's very much like in the ending, they reveal it to him. They sit him down and say, hey, it's going to go this way. And unfortunately, she has to die, but she can save many, many people. But that's what the twist was, because they never even hinted that in the game at all, as far as like, oh, they're shady. It's literally just, hey, we're going to get there and we can, and I don't know if they even specifically say we could keep her alive, but it's like insinuated of, you know, her immune system, body, whatever it may be, can help create a cure and almost spread it. So I think they kind of insinuate like her being alive, she could keep like giving vials and stuff like to people. But yeah, that's very similar, where they sit them down and say, this is how it's going to go. And sorry, you may love her, but it doesn't matter. And I think that's the best thing about the ending that I've always loved. And I feel like luckily we don't have to have these conversations in real life, but people have joked and talked about this for years. Like, the whole one versus not Tomb Raider, but one versus that's what I think, one versus, but it's that dilemma, right? If you had a loved one and would you rather save them or save the planet? And that's in the most high action sense, but that's why I love they take that concept and they bring it down to a realistic term of, hey, you know, her death could save everybody. It could literally create a cure, and we can start to build up. We don't have to worry about clickers, and like my kids and your kids and our grandkids, they can start to rebuild. Or because she's, you know, now your surrogate daughter, you can take her, but you screw everyone else. And I love the choice of, I think it's that classic decision of a character making a choice you don't want them to, but it makes it more interesting of he's selfish, and Joel single-handedly just continues the apocalypse going, you know, because he doesn't want to let go of Ellie. And especially when, that's my last favorite line, when, and it's in the game too, when Ellie says, this shouldn't be all for nothing. So when she tells Joel, she's like, yeah, she would want to do this. She's absolutely right. Ellie would want to sacrifice herself for everybody else, but Joel takes that decision away from everybody and just, big time.
Yeah, I mean, I love that it exists as this very gray area thing too, and like the element of them not telling Ellie, being kind of shady about it. Obviously, him and Marlene have that conversation at the very end where she's like, "Oh, you who are you to like make this decision?" He's like, "Who are you to make this decision?" Well, obviously, like should be Ellie's decision down to it, but they don't even give her that respect or tell her like, have your final moment with Joel. Like they just go right into it. So obviously, it's still not justifying him killing a bunch of potentially innocent people. But there's also the element too where like this just might not work at all. So they could just kill her, and it is not actually a cure, and it was just a waste of time. And they just killed this girl for nothing. And Joel's like now second daughter is just killed for no reason whatsoever. So obviously Joel, by the end of this, I'm like, yeah, Joel's an awful person, but I still think like all of that was very much beautifully in that gray area, and that's why I think I enjoyed it so much.
Kirklin, Tara, where are you guys on this?
Yeah, rip it to shreds. Tear this thing apart, please.
I mean, it's not even so much of that, because a lot of the positive takes that you guys are pulling out of it, like I definitely agree with it. I feel like the shadiness of the Fireflies, I totally understand Joel's perspective on it, because like he doesn't really have anyone else. I guess Tommy, but like Tommy's very established in his own family. Like he doesn't really need to have Joel in his life, it seems. So like Joel, really like his main beacon on this world is like Ellie right now, like that is his main outlet, so like he can't lose that. I totally understand that. I think like the biggest thing for me was I just never expected this to be what the finale was going to be. So I was like, is this really what we're doing here? Like this just seems a complete 180, but then I'm also like trying to just, I don't know, stew on it and like I guess understand what he's going through, because in the moment, to your guys' point, like it's just so chaotic and fast moving, like in those situations, like purposely so for the Fireflies to just like get it going without any delays or possibly switching up the plan. But yeah, I think I think it was just one of those things where I thought we were going to be going to so many different places, and it just ended at this hospital, and the entire plan is just just done for because Joel just pops off in a crazy action sequence, which was fabulous to see. That was really video gamey. It seemed the way that a lot of those scenes were done.
Well, and that's what happens in the game. The cutscene happens, and then when he gets the gun and kills those two guys, when I played it first, I'm like, okay, we're gonna get a cutscene here, but they literally make you play through and kill all these innocent people and stuff like that. Like they make you as Joel have to pull the trigger on every single one of them. I just remember it's such a great video game moment because you're like because you got to beat the game. So like fuck, like I don't know if I want to be doing this, but you're just like boom, boom, like you're just like, and they literally just make them like turn like you're like killing people that were like the Ravagers and stuff like that before. Like they're nothing, right? They're just even the Doctor and Marlene. Like you're just mowing these people down. I just remember there's a game like just putting that down. I play it like not midnight, but like a late night, and just sitting there like, oh my god, like I just demolished.
Am I the bad guy?
Yeah, and that's and even like even the Doctor, you're killing not even these soldiers, people that could maybe potentially fix this situation. They're just gone. They're now. It's like not even Ellie's just gone. Like maybe they'll find someone else. It's just like the people that could create a cure are just gone too. It's like oh my god.
As soon as he shot the surgeon, Shay's like, well, that's probably the only brain surgeon in the entire world that was alive, and now that's just out the window. And like because it was a result that I just wasn't expecting. It felt like a video game moment where it had like the player choose what the result was going to be, and they just like went with like the canon path. Now I understand it's probably not the case since there is a second game, so it is like a linear story there, but just the way that it went, it very much felt that way, where it's like, okay, as Joel, you can accept to save humanity, just sacrifice Ellie here, or just fucking pop off and kill all the Fireflies. That's like the high chaos, like end game, and that's just how it felt. So I think it just, I don't know, it wasn't as easy to digest for me, but it's interesting to hear that like there's been that controversy since that initial, because I definitely understand that, because it's not a clean, it's a gray area. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Because we're talking about it was completely shady, but at the same time, like it could help everybody, like it's that's the thing. And now they're
like Dylan said, it could have just not worked at all. And then you would have been really pissed off. Would have just killed all the Fireflies afterwards, probably.
Yeah. Or like, oh, actually, we didn't need to kill her. This could have worked if she was alive. We figured out a way. Joel is just.
Yeah, if they took any time, but no, like immediately they're like, get her in the chair. Let's do this.
So the way that Joel goes about this with his reasons and justifications totally fits the story. He doesn't want to lose another daughter-like figure, everything like that. It makes sense. Again, this is the kind of ending that I had read into and looked into, and I knew it was coming. I've talked to other people about it. So I was aware that we were getting to this point.
When you said that, I wasn't sure, because I don't think I'd ever talked to the ending with you, so I wasn't sure what you knew or didn't know.
I think we did. It was either with you or someone else. It was like a few years ago.
I like there could be someone else, and you're like in the non-spoiler. It's like, Travis, we've talked about this many a times.
Many times. Yeah. I just imagine these conversations I have with you.
Yeah.
But I did not realize it was so graphic in the way he executed this. Now, the whole question being, save one life to save a million kind of a thing, whatever. This may seem negative, but I would probably say, I would probably make that choice like Joel did, and not in the same.
Oh
respect
boy, Taylor would massacre a whole hospital of people.
No, I'm not saying like if it was in the situation like where Joel was going to save her, just like because it's like her daughter figure and all that kind of stuff. That's him. But for me, I look at it like like as shitty as life is, but if we're in this situation, that I feel like maybe this is supposed to be it. Maybe we're not supposed to come. Maybe we're supposed to just kind of survive and string along and just kind of fuzz out.
And Joel kind of said that, right? Because when she was talking about moving on, and he talked about that twice when he said, he talked about almost killing himself, and then he talked about he never healed. He just found something, and obviously she knew he was talking about her and stuff like that. And he was even saying that after the very end scene about, well, you just move on and you find something else to keep you going and everything like that, right? Like he's trying to say, just make the best of what we have. Like it's not going to change, so try to be as happy as possible.
That's the kicker, I think, too, because humanity has a knack for survival, and I think in this situation, the Fireflies do a great job at reflecting that survivability, especially with Ellie and all that jazz. But yeah, I like how Joel put that. It's just like, while we're here, stop focusing so much on that present, like whether or not you could be saved, humanity, all that jazz, like who knows? That's up to the brain surgeon who now got his brains blown out. But it's up to, like Joel said, you got to make the most of the situation and find that those few remaining things that make you happy, and just enjoy the remainder of your life on this planet, I guess. So
That's what he was doing. He was
That's
at
what he was
blast,
doing?
just
Oh, yeah.
massacring. He's got like the
Yes.
Javi smile from Unbearable Weight.
But like we joke, but that literally is what he's doing, right? He's choosing his own needs over everybody else. He's choosing, and again, like that's the argument you could go with. It might not even work, right? So it could have been a situation where it didn't work, and then he would have just been pissed. So it is like there's like 3 different angles to it, but at the end of the day, he could have been like, well, that's maybe what she wanted. Let's see if it works, and then you go from there. But no, he took the choice, and then he lies to Ellie at the end because she asked him. And like I
Yeah.
said, that's not in the game. In the game, it just ends in the car, and he says the same thing of like, oh, there's a bunch of them, and it didn't work out, and
I
everything
fucked him
like
up,
that.
Ellie. I fucking killed
Yeah,
them all.
he just says like, oh yeah, no, it didn't work out. It's very abrupt that they left, and then she's just kind of disheveled about it because again, she didn't want it to be all for nothing, and
Yeah.
in her mind, it clearly was now. But I feel like they were in a good way at the end, trying to be very heavy-handed because. The events of this season will play in the next season. Her being like, swear you didn't do anything, like swear this story is true, and he's like, yeah, I swear. That's like another bad thing. Like he didn't even share it then of tell her because eventually it's just like, I can't. I don't know. Another bad thing he did. He could have done it and then been like, you know what? I was selfish, everything, but I didn't want you to die. I couldn't work. But now he's doing the bad thing and then even lying to this person that. In the same day, they feel like fully connected now. Like it's them versus the world. And now already day one, he's doing a massive lie to her. A massive
He said that extremely like poker face.
good actor.
Holy shit.
To comment on like the actual scene of Joel going around, I really like the way they did that, where it didn't feel like sorry Taylor, but it didn't feel like it had all those explosions to it, like
Yeah.
it was some big climactic finish. It didn't feel like a Michael Bay movie, but I like that, like just the sound was very subdued. There was kind of like a bit of slow-mo on things here or there, and it to me it felt like he just had like just this dissociative like moment where he just like any part of his actual like personality and whatnot just completely left his
like just
body.
buried it.
Yeah, and he just turned into a robot and was like every shot was like exactly precisely just headshots, no like holding back. The only time he doesn't shoot someone like to kill instantly is the guy because he like in the leg at the start because he wants to get some information from him 1st. But even that just like instantly turns and then just kills him because he's not giving him what he wants. So I thought the way they did that was really cool, and I'm guessing that would just have a very different tone than it would in the video game, just because you're having to actually go around and do all this stuff, and it probably feels like, oh, here's one last big action set piece. But I feel like in this they didn't make it feel that way, which is good because it's I don't know. It's obviously it's more like in this time when you're sitting with this in the minute or two it's happening in the show, you're just sitting with the fact that he's doing this. It doesn't really matter that there's like some big action scene. That's not what's compelling you to keep watching at that point.
Well, and that's what I was trying to talk about non-spoilers, where you feel like icky in the game because you're the one doing the shooting. So now when you watch, it's like, okay, you're not going to be making that choice like with the triggers. So how do you get that? And that's where I like the score kind of slowly goes away.
Yeah.
Like the set, like everything's muffled too. I like it's just Pedro, it's his face, and it's all pretty much from his perspective. You don't really see the people, like you see, like of course them go down and die and everything like that, but it's a lot of just on him and just quick movements of the guy. Like he gets that guy to drop his gun and then he just kills him right away. All this stuff, but I loved the kind of muffling of everything, and it's just like you're talking about. Just he's not even there anymore, and it's kind of like if you like when you have that ringing in your ear. It wasn't exactly like that, but that's what it felt like. Where
Definitely.
he's just going, and it's one after the other, and it was a really good choice to make you feel, I think, not good about the situation.
It had like as I was watching it, because yes, it wasn't like super explosions or anything like that, but it made me feel like shit. I'm in the Jedi Temple. Order 66 is coming down.
Oh no,
Oh
It always
yes.
comes back to
Oh yes.
it always
That's
comes back to
exactly
Order
what it
66.
felt like, because like he was just like cruising through all these people who thought like,
yeah.
yo, we got her. I can go home and tell my wife and kid like we got the cure, and then boom, just being gunshotted and stuff like that. So
Gunshotted. Yep. I don't know if it's a word, but we'll run with it. But Yeah, and then also we talked about, but we lost Marlene as well. She was the last person to try and make a sort of plea, and I did like because that's something that's not in the video game. I think they did a very good tying of. Now she might have mentioned that she knew her, but the whole scene of Ellie's mom, which that she was played by Ashley Johnson, who voices I think we've talked about it before, but very cool. I like that. It was a fun scene there. They used that one as the explanation of that's why she's not infected, because it was kind of like she got it while she was still kind of in the, like, she was connected, so almost like building an immune system somehow to it. I don't know how that physically works, but it's a fun it's a sci-fi world, so that's fun. So we got that, but then we also had that kind of establishment of Marlene, and I can't remember, they gave Ellie's character's mom name, Anna, thank you, some sort of connection, and I really like that scene. At first she wasn't going to kill her because she couldn't do it, but she gave Ellie away and then she killed her. I thought Ashley Johnson did a really good job. She's an actual actress too, it's not just a voice actress, but still I liked all that. So I liked also tying Marlene to show that scene at the very beginning, to also show this is a hard decision for her, and Joel is completely blind. And now I think Marlene maybe could have shared a little bit more, but I think she was just worried of what Joel might do, so that's why they told him to get him in the street, which obviously didn't work out. But I like kind of that, the two perspectives of, you have this like this adoptive father now, and then you have this person who is responsible for like getting her into the world when she was a baby and stuff like that. Like, I don't know what that, because it wasn't in the game, what that means. Like, who did she go to? Who raised her? I would have thought that maybe that's the only thing that's weird. Like, you would have thought Marlene maybe would have raised her to be her own in that situation, but she's a busy woman, so maybe not. So, but I did like
that was too hard for her, so she handed her off. Truly,
yeah. So I like that parallels of the woman there at the very start of life, and at this moment, Joel's saying he's there at the end of the life, and them having this like conversation about what they should do with this child, and obviously being on different sides. So I liked the birth scene being added quite a bit. It was good.
Yeah, I loved seeing Ashley Johnson. I think she did fantastic, and just this kind of action sequence while she's pregnant, like every step just felt so heavy and difficult, and she really sold that. So I liked that sequence. And yeah, I mean I like that the explanation too. I'm not a medical doctor by any means, but I think the fact that she was like just born and there was like cordyceps like just going through the umbilical cord, like just enough for her body to be able to fight it off and build that immunity, and that's why she's got it now. Like that totally makes sci-fi sense for me. I'm locked in now, and like I didn't need that at all. I could have just believed, for whatever reason, this one kid has an immunity, and that means potentially there's other people out there. But even then, like, I don't know, just the knowing that's, I guess Anna did lie to Marlene about the. She said she cut the umbilical cord before she got
lie.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like in theory, this means that like this could happen again. Obviously, that would be a pretty fucked up situation. Like, get this woman pregnant. Okay, we're gonna have the baby. We're gonna get her infected for 10 seconds
right before.
Yeah, but so that obviously it's hard for that information to travel because no one knows about it. But yeah, I really enjoyed that opening sequence. It was cool.
I was like, so Ashley Johnson, that was the voice actress for
who voices Ellie, yeah.
Because I thought, like, at first I was just like, man, what great casting. Like, she looks so similar to Bella
Ramsey. She looks like Belle Ramsey, right? I said to Emily, I'm like, how did this work out? She's just the voice actress, and like it worked out just like the way they did her hair.
Yeah, it was
really
very
well
believable.
Done. Yeah.
And yeah, like Dylan said, I just feel like the danger in that scene was just elevated so much because she was pregnant, and like when she was just laying in that room and just like that thing was just pounding on the door, like it was super stressful. And then when Marlene and crew find her later on, it was I really like that opening. So yeah, it's funny, this thing where I feel like has happened the last few weeks where I start the episode on, because I watch it like on live TV or whatever on like the HBO channel, but it's like I was like 10 minutes late, so I just like see a scene with this lady on there and she kind of looks like Ellie, so I'm like, oh no, what is Ellie like what's going on with Ellie
She's
this episode?
Pregnant?
Yeah.
Huge time jump.
Because she just looks so similar. So yeah, fortunately I didn't get spoiled too bad, but in that moment it was a panic for sure. Just rewind the episode. But that's happened a few times, especially in like House of the Dragon too, where I start the episode and it's like 10 minutes in, it's like, oh no, don't look, just restart.
Yeah. And for like there's another one that happens in the hospital too, but just another another kind of like fourth wall breaky thing to have the voice actress of Ellie having a scene with the voice actress of Marlene. Now, obviously, she plays both, but it's just cool to have like that dichotomy and stuff. And then later on in the hospital, they have, you guys will know her more in the next game. There's a very big character named Abby, the woman that voices her. She was one of the nurses in the hospital, and that's kind of some of the origins of Abby. Yeah, she was one of the like the nameless nurses. So I like
I'm
again.
surprised that they put her in that role and not like saving it for a more meaningful one. Maybe it's like, once again, if they like didn't think they were gonna potentially get a second season, they're like, okay, we want to get her in there. What is it? Laura Bailey, right? It's her name.
Yeah, which I don't know. You may know more than me. I don't know. Is she like? Does she do actual like acting? Like, is that it? Maybe that she's just a voice actress, and it's just we're gonna put her here because she's like because
I don't
Troy.
know, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, but even then, because it's a faceless nurse, they could almost like use her again, right? Like I feel like the only one they couldn't use again is Ashley and Troy because they killed them off, right? Where that one no one ever knows. But again, I think with knowing what with Abby and stuff like that, I think it's a fun character situation for there. So I just love that it's very much like comic bookies when they're like, you know, they throw little Easter eggs to the comic books, but it's a weird dichotomy of they're attributing the show while these actors are playing. One's a different character, stuff like that. So
they're honoring the people that like helped create this IP. That's still like just so relevant all these years later.
Let's take our second ad break and then we'll keep going on. So we'll be right back. We'll be right back. Taylor, I saw your mouth. I saw the tongue getting ready to move.
It's just the pizza going down again.
Oh, right. Still that. I forgot about that.
Damn it.
Cordyceps.
Anything to add, Taylor, on the opening scene? Did you like the origin of Ellie?
Fantastic. This was
Really rubbing your eye? Are you sure you're good over there, man? Yeah.
Pizza's popping out of it. It's like, you know, like what was that thing called when you put putty in them and you like and they came out all the holes and everything like that? You know what I'm talking about.
Toys are wild toys. I'd hate to clean those up.
Yeah, that's gonna be Taylor pizza. Where's the pizza from?
Papa John's.
Papa John's. Okay, I'm surprised you got it tonight. When tomorrow's 50% off. Like one more day, half your bill.
We
cut.
did a massive house cleaning today, and we went to the store and we got a frozen pizza. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna like cook the frozen pizza. I want like a fresh Papa John's pizza.
Wait, before we continue the show, did you buy the frozen pizza as well, though?
Oh, we bought it, yeah. But it's okay. We'll have it in the freezer for another night. So
Yeah, it'll last.
Okay.
yeah, it'll last. That's for sure.
It won't expire.
Back to the finale.
The start of this episode, when we got to the whole like Ellie thing, I thought that was really, really well done. But the way that they set up this scene of her running through the forest and just how terrifying it was, because you could hear like the cries and the moans of the infected behind her. That shit really freaks me out because it just creates this strong, potent form of like isolation and vulnerability as she's going through here. And she's obviously, you know, she's pregnant, which is a cherry on top in this situation. You don't want to be in that like at all. And she's just in pain. When she gets to that house and she's like running through the clearing and about to like get to the door, that's when it gets really intense because I'm just scanning the tree line thinking, holy shit, like, are we going to see them coming out? And you can hear them like crying out. And she gets upstairs, you hear them outside, and it's just, I love when they can just use the sound and the audio just to play with your mind and create that fear, just aesthetic over you as a viewer, which they did fantastically. So as far as that goes, this is one of my favorite starts to an episode, and it's great. The fact that I wouldn't even need to have seen this infected. The fact that we got to see it very quickly, it fuels the storyline, keeps the development going. But it just goes to show how powerful that story writing is and how well they executed that. So
I even like the added tension of, because that infected like busts through a window when the rest of the crew gets there, the door is still locked, and so they're a little bit confused about what's going on, but they think it's probably okay, and then that kind of way it unfolds. I thought it was cool. Yeah, I forgot you mentioned the like initial scene when she's like running back through the forest. I gotta say, I hated how they shot that. It was like shaky cam, and it was like running past trees. It just looked awful. I was like, I am about to have a seizure right now. This is a little too much, but everything other than that was good.
did you guys think that they would have had her like turn? Because they did such a slow burn of was it Marilyn?
Riley? What do you think?
Marlene, thank you. She's going into the house and the stairs going up. It just felt like the slow burn. And I'm glad they had like the singing because I was able to kind of like think. I was just thinking, okay, she hit Ellie in like a cupboard or something, and then fucking mom's gonna dolphin dive on the stairs or something like that. So
Dolphin dive. What's a
Yeah.
dolphin dive?
dolphin
What do you
dive.
do in Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think she's gonna do that. Yeah, I'm happy she went back because that's just a worse way to, like. I know you don't want to kill someone, but if one of you guys were bit and you asked me to kill you, I'm gonna do you because like that's like it's gonna just be much worse. Like I don't want to have you guys go through that.
What if I tell you not to
situation.
kill me? Are you still gonna kill me?
Yeah, you know what?
Leave me with my
Probably. yeah, probably I will. Because like you're not gonna be in good state. Yeah, tell me, I can fight it. Don't
Well,
worry.
think about no, but think about how Marlene would feel if they do this thing with Ellie, the cure works, and they're like, okay, well, I guess we can like turn people back now, and she's like, well, too bad I shot her in the head and she's dead now. Like, that's why I think like to some extent, if it's someone you really care about, lock them up or something like that. Lock them in one of those rooms
There you
and
go.
just
chain
like,
me up. Chain me
yeah,
up,
maybe
Travis.
someday they'll be able to get saved, but.
just a full like facility just of we saw that worked out in a Walking Dead season once.
Yeah,
but
pretty
the
risky.
chain- it is very risky. It has a very low success rate. Usually, it ends badly. But
it ends
I
with
like the
John Bernthal
optimism.
open up a barn just going to fucking town. Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad she did turn around, and she turned like no goodbyes, nothing, just turn around quick, and I get it because she had to just do it, but just and that guy, that guard, all she did, he had one job. She just said cover the baby's ears. That
Don't
shoots
cover
it.
the
You did
baby's
not.
ears. Okay.
What? No, yeah, no, he said, yeah, exactly. Because then the shot happens, and first shot is like the baby, no blanket around the ears, like it's just like it's just like one job. This guy failed,
No,
So-
I mean, I think if a gunshot goes off like 2 meters from someone, I don't think covering their ears is gonna do the trick. Unless your arms are made of cement or like
well,
a bucket.
I
but
still
the
would've
baby's
covered the
ears.
ears.
Enough padding. Enough
He
Think
padding.
about
probably
a baby's
did.
ear.
I don't know.
It would muffle it a little
He
bit.
didn't though, because they go to the shot, and he's just still just like, oh, you're gonna be okay. Yeah,
It's
it's
like, what'd you
fine.
say? You can't hear
I
anything.
guess
'cause
yeah,
he
it's
never
possible
covers
this
his
guy's
ears.
never like seen a baby before. He's like, what is this thing?
But yeah, is there, because we kind of went from the beginning to the end, is there anything specifically on like the ending with Joel's choice or Ellie's conversation? Because there's some stuff in the middle, but is there anything about that we wanted to cover still that we haven't?
Like the dialogue between the two of them when he was just being sus, and she's seeing through the lies of the Jedi that he's just dropping on her. And like this is another thing where I feel like I just haven't fully accepted his decision in that moment, because when he was just like being sus, it was just like, where are we going with this? Like is she really just gonna like, I don't know, like be super pissed off in this moment, go solo? I really didn't know where we're going in that scene. I love the performance of her. Especially like that last line where he's like, I forget.
I swear. I think you just
Yeah.
said that. Could swear your story is the one that actually happened. He's like, oh, I
And
swear.
then yeah, she's just like tearing up too in that moment, and like just great emotion that Bella Ramsey was bringing in that scene. It was super super powerful. But I just feel like I was just riding such like a Pedro high. I'm like, oh my god, Joel can't do any wrong. This guy's super good. And then now here we are. It's just like, oh my god, he's he's the bad guy of the story. But I get it. I get the reasoning. I just, for me personally, I haven't fully accepted that.
And that's fair.
I gotta say, I just hate like with the way streaming services are. I'm watching this on Crave. Like you have that scene. She says okay, and it just like cuts into the
Oh,
credits
I know.
immediately, and then like immediately like Crave pops back up, and it's like, do you want to watch like Euphoria season 2? I'm like, yeah, but like let me exist in this. Like let me just
Please
suck
don't
this in,
unsubscribe. We got
please.
more shows.
I always have to like scroll back, click on the credits, and let them play through. I don't know. I just hate how quick it is, especially like a finale. Like, let the finale play through, please. I don't know.
Imagine if the video game did that, like right after the scene cuts. Like, want to play Last of Us 2 right now? Hit it. Maybe it does now.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
it
know.
like puts you to the PlayStation store.
yeah, the store, credit card ready to go. Just like
There's
it's
a
in your
Ubisoft
card.
sale. Get 50% off right now on Assassin's Creed.
yeah, Black Flag, and you're like, I was playing Last of Us. Why is it this? And even then, like, I get it because they're HBO shows, but like, other than being dark, like Euphoria and Last of Us don't have much in common, Like,
Yeah.
and they're very different dark. Euphoria's like, look look at our troubled youth, where this is like a man just slaughtered 15 people to save a girl.
Youth, though. Troubled youth.
Yeah, I guess it's troubled youth and stuff. But no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I thought you were going like the thumbnail showed something bad because I couldn't remember the thumbnail. Just imagine the thumbnail is just him in the hospital, just like covered in blood and stuff. But
Well, it is kind of that too, where like, when it cuts out and it's just the crave screen, it's like just Bella and Pedro like standing there, but then like Bella's like top half of her face is just cut off by the little preview of the credits too. So it's like no one had like planned this. Like you could at least like check what this image is gonna look like before you send on this thing. But I don't know. Just
and I will
minor
say
gripe.
because I can't remember. I think it was either in our Discord or one episode because someone like was hinting. They're like, "Do you think that event will actually happen this year or save the end?" I think we all were like, "Oh, it's going to end with that." But in retrospect, the trailers they only showed one shot of Joel with a gun in the hospital, but it was like a close up, so they didn't reveal anything. But that's how for people that play the game it was a giveaway. Okay, they're going to do it this because it's same as usual, same clothes. It's very similar, like shot wise and stuff. So they showed like one like quick frame of okay, the hospital thing's going to go down, and unless we were going to get that. And then it would like be the cliffhanger, but obviously I don't think that's the point because I think that's the good thing for people that didn't know it was coming. Because yeah, Dylan, you said you knew it happened, right? So Kirklin, you were the only one that didn't know, and I feel like there's how did Shay take it and stuff like that? Because Emily kind of like she knows certain things from season 2 or the game 2 because she kind of bought the. What the fuck am I even saying right now? I played the game. She saw me play some of the games, so she
bought
knew.
it for me. I played it.
Yeah, you like the way I play it? No, but like there's she kind of had some ideas, and she was like, okay, and she's full team Joel. She's like, I would just do it. And I laid all the situations out, like, well, you do this, this, and this, and she just wouldn't answer. She's like, oh no, I gotta do it. I'm like, all right. So we're on some different sides there. But what did Shay also take from it the first time as far as seeing this?
Yeah, I mean, like we were both just shocked in those moments for sure. I feel like we didn't. Like we both just didn't accept like what was happening, and even like once he got into like the surgery room, like the operating room, it seemed like for a moment he was gonna just like kind of stand there and like have a moment to be like, is this like this is the last like this is the last step here? Like, do I really go through with it, or do I just let them do their thing? And very quickly he just fucking headshots the one brain surgeon probably left in the whole fucking at least North America, I would imagine.
That brain surgeon, don't take a step further with a scalpel.
I'm not gonna let you do this with his like little fucking letter opener that he had.
And then the nurses right away got to work like, okay, unhook her, right? Let's do this.
Yeah.
It was great. Like
So
bad,
as,
but great.
as soon as that headshot went off, like she was just she was shocked for sure.
And
I think,
that's-
but just both of us weren't expecting us to go this route. So it was
Yeah.
good that we went into it spoiler free. It made for
Nice.
a surreal experience.
That is crazy that you've gone all these years without
Yeah.
finding
Yeah.
out. I love that.
Because that's like such a big thing, like people have talked about, right? Of like this, and that's what I'm excited for the people that hadn't known. Because I even got that sense in some of our Discord, like some people hadn't known what it is. So I think it's going to be much like the video game, where I think it's like it is a great finale in a game that was supposed to be the end of the game, right? But for a TV show, it's a great finale because even though it's 2 years away, it's a type of finale that people will talk about for years and stuff like that. Like it reminds, it's not controversial, but it reminded me of like season 4 when, Trinity Killer of Dexter did a certain thing, right? I just remember the whole time that was the talk of town, like, man, they did this thing, right? And I feel like this finale is going to have that. And I feel like it's also going to have that effect where people will hear other people talk about that haven't seen the show and they're going to go watch it just because they'll be like, man, that finale, what happened? Like, oh, you don't want to know. Like, it just was crazy. And I feel like I'm excited to see and it's crazy we didn't even talk about it, like, because we don't get the results, but this show, like last week, the ratings it was their biggest episode, but it was 74% up from the premiere, which is crazy. Like most shows, usually they premiere and they stay steady and then have a bump in the finale. So I don't know what the ratings for the finale is going to do, but I just feel like this finale will cause a lot of people to jump on, even in the middle of production of seasons, because there'll be a lot of buzz of this thing happened. So
I was wondering because they obviously when the Super Bowl was happening, they moved the show to Friday, and the Oscars are tonight. So I wonder how that will affect the viewership. Maybe it would affect like the Sunday night viewership, but then like still like Monday, Tuesday, people catching up will be really high or something like that.
I don't think it will because the Oscars have been on a steady decline. The past, I don't know if because HBO is like it's cable, so I don't know if we can get the same ratings. But Oscars, other than the slap that happened last year, like the ratings have been going quite down. So I feel like there's a lot of people that will probably pick Last of Us over this because there's still probably a bunch of people that don't even know what's nominated and stuff. But shout out to Everything Everywhere All at Once,
I just
first
feel like there's a
ever
lot of,
Golden
like-
Geek and Best Picture winner of all
Yeah,
time. So there
that's
you go.
crazy.
That's a fun
First time
fact.
for
So yeah.
I just feel like there's a lot of like middle-aged people, like I think of like my parents
Yep.
and stuff like that, who are interested, like are actually checking out the show, even though they don't know anything about the game and stuff like that. But then I feel like those people in that age bracket, they're like the Oscars is like a must-watch thing for them, even if they haven't seen like Triangle of Sadness and Everything Everywhere. They haven't seen any of this stuff, but they still just watch it every year.
I'm gonna have to corner Richard Muss at work and ask him what he thought about this episode when he sees
I don't know if he's
Well, what
actually
you've
watched
done.
this. I just more mean like I don't know. I just everyone else I seem to talk to. Like, everyone's watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anything else on the finale portion? Nothing.
No, not the. By finale portion, you mean like the ending of the.
Just
ending.
the ending. Yeah. Because we were kind of. That's where. Yeah. That's it. Give your
episode,
scores. Yeah. We're not reviewing season 2. We've decided no. And then so after that we pick up right away after the birth to a lot of just travel, them being together. We get the classic draft scene. There are some sequences. There was like another kind of action sequence at a tunnel they skipped and stuff like that. So it's one of these things that I kind of understood why they skipped some of the action. I don't think you're wrong, Dylan, and I wonder if the people that purely watch the show, if they heard no hype for the game or anything like that, if they just purely watch the show because they want another zombie show in their life, like how they feel about that. And I think now at least it shows that ratings are up, so it doesn't matter, but I think it shows like what the show's doing, unlike the game, that the infected, the clickers, they're very much just in the background of the show and they're used for certain moments, and I guess they're good at not overusing them, so when we get them again. But I think in season 2 I hope that they will up that ante a little bit, because we didn't get, in this episode there was nothing else. The most creature we got was a giraffe, and looked good up close, a little further away, like had some issues, but a cute scene. That's from the game, and I like that was included in there.
Is that in the finale of the game? I thought that was like halfway through the game or something for some reason.
I think it's like at the beginning of the near end of the game. That's how it is. So it's like, because the thing
When
is,
you're going into like Act 3 kind of.
yes, kind of that way. Yeah, it's not as close to this because they do skip some stuff, and even like getting there, and again, just in general, there's lots of walking with the characters and stuff. So I think it's more the beginning of the third act of the giraffe and stuff. And I was joking about this and I don't think I ever thought about this when I played the game, but with Emily, like, he's like, oh my God, look at this. This man fucking is recovering from a stab wound, and she's making him run up like 10 flights of stairs to see this giraffe, not telling, like, poor Joel just like huffing and puffing and everything. But I
thought that was gonna be a dream sequence for a moment, because she was just like, oh, look at this, and she was just like gone. It's like, is this really the best time to be doing something like this, where she's
I know,
just gunning it away? And she had already been like kind of like spaced out, like I feel like up until that point, just because of what's happened in like the last episode and everything. And then all of a sudden she was just gunning it. I'm like, oh, this is a dream sequence for sure. And then we just see a giraffe. I'm like, oh, this is definitely a dream sequence. No, this is reality.
When you thought it was a dream sequence, how did you think that dream was going to end? Because they always end everywhere. Like, where did you think it was going to go?
Probably her dying or something. I don't know. And then he just like wakes
a giraffe.
Giraffe
eating
just like
her?
eats her. Yeah.
There's like
Hey,
2
Joel.
minutes left in the show. You're like, there is no time for them to do this right now. Well, sorry, I was like last episode in the snowy environment. Does anyone remember where we were? Like what because I'm wondering, because I feel like there was, to me, I got the vibe that there was like a bit of a time jump between where we were there and like, I think they showed a Wyoming sign. Like, I guess that's where this hospital is. So I feel like that there's maybe been a couple weeks in terms of like his healing. Like I
You're
feel
probably
like
right.
he's probably doing a bit better.
Yeah, I
At
think
least it's
you're
not
right.
snowy anymore. They're at least showing it that way.
Yeah,
so.
only the hills had some snow, but even then, I think you're right. A couple weeks at least,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Taylor. I was cutting you off there.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I have to say, the scene where the giraffes came in, totally unexpected, and it just, for me, it just felt totally like, hence my nickname, Vegisaurus, when Jurassic Park and they're in the tree and they're feeding the herbivores. It just it felt like this. It had the Alan Grant with the kids moment, just the bonding. Really liked it. And then when it pans out and they're moving away, I'm like, look at the Brachiosauruses moving on in the distance there. It's just the whole herd of giraffes. Like, oh, it's so beautiful, so beautiful. They're even making the moans too, like the or however giraffes sound.
Don't say moans. Don't say moans.
Some horny ass giraffes.
I love grass.
Weirdly for me, as the once again, just always hearing people talk about this game, I feel like it's people talking about the ending and people talking about the giraffe scene. So I was like, man, when is this
That's
thing?
funny.
I don't know why, but that is always the one that people seem to bring up. So yeah, I mean, I would say it lands. Like, it's not like it's a huge scene. It's just like a nice, like, little moment. And I think like to my point of what I was saying the last few weeks is like I kind of want just more of that. You know, there's little moments of them walking around and talking about stuff, and Ellie interacting with things she's never interacted with before. Like that's always a fun dynamic. Her excitement, like the giggles that she had, like Bella's acting in those sequences, like the way she just has these very innocent giggles that just there's no way someone can act that. Like it just feels like those laughs you can't hold back. Like when someone puts on the fucking Dexter face with the wig, and we just can't, can't hold back from laughing.
It's natural. Yeah.
Don't do it. No, I brought it on myself. But
They
yeah, I
go
really love that
upstairs.
sequence.
I was like, look at this, and what's there waiting? A young Michael C. Hall eating grass, like,
She
and
does
they're
her
petting his
giggles
hair.
and everything. Yeah.
Just chewing grass.
Oh, look at this, Joel! It's Michael C. Hall, the teen years.
I also felt like this is a bit of a call out to the game when they were going up there, and he's like, I'm gonna lift you up, and you send the ladder down, which is something that you do a million times in the game, right? But then she just totally drops the ladder. Like I don't know, I'm guessing that doesn't happen in the game very often. It's probably like a very set animation of her handing the ladder down and him, and it's like the same animation every time, maybe a different camera angle. But I thought that was a funny moment. Once again, we talked about that in the first couple episodes. There seemed to be a lot of things that were like kind of video gamey, but just a little bit. But I feel like we haven't had any of that in like 6 weeks. But to have another one here in the finale was a fun little moment.
I was shocked we never got on the show because I talked about this thing. It was episode 2, and they did that thing with the water, and somehow she couldn't swim, but then it was like to her knees, so it was fine.
Oh yeah.
They never did in the video game Last of Us. That's a big meme where it feels like hours will put Ellie on a log and just push her through water, and that's where you get a lot of the dialogue scenes because they're talking stuff. But like there was never a body of water that Joel had to move Ellie through. So I'm a tad disappointed.
I am shocked they didn't do it. I wonder if they filmed it and just cut it for some reason, like it didn't fit in the runtime or something. Because they like definitely were foreshadowing that when they did it. It didn't feel like a throwaway line, which to now I guess it is. Maybe they're really future proofing for season 2.
Or was it, or does Neil just view it as too memey? He's like, I don't like that people make fun of this. We're not going to do the log thing. It's supposed to be a serious.
But then, like, why even
He's
make that
scared
like
of
a
water.
character trait for her? Yeah, I guess it's like just the element that she grew up in this place that doesn't have like swimming pools and access to go swimming in the lake or something. But it just feels like a weird thing to throw in there if they're not going to have some scene that brings it together.
And maybe they'll do it in 2. Maybe there's something they could do there and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I have a couple last little shouts, which is after the zoo sequence when they're walking through that military zone. Once again, love that dialogue. He's sharing more information, a little bit about Sarah and why his hearing is the way it is. I like that moment. Travis, you mentioned it already. But even just the things too, he mentions that he saw a guitar, it was smashed up, and he wants a teacher someday. I know that's like a big thing with that character in part 2 is that she's playing the guitar and stuff like that, so that's cool. That he like wanted her to pull up the pun book. He wanted to hear some puns. Obviously that scene didn't end well for them. They got fucking smoke grenaded or flash grenade, whatever it was. But just once again, like those are, I think, when I'm gonna think back on the show, those are my favorite moments. Are just those little sequences when it's those two walking in some very just amazingly built set. That I don't know where the green screen, starts and ends. Just looks fantastic. They're bringing this decrepit world to life, and you're just getting like fun little dialogue between these two characters who are great actors. So, yeah, I love that short, sweet little sequence between them.
Yeah, and that's where I thought too. I love Pedro just being fully on board of like, oh, we can play this game. Like you'll probably beat me and stuff like. I just loved. There was no more. He felt so kind of. Not desperate in the sense of like, oh, look how pathetic he is. Almost just trying to reaffirm that Ellie was that connected too. Like he just felt so safe in a very scary way because the whole series, even in that episode we got when they were back in the town with Joel and stuff, not Joel, Tommy, he showed like, okay, I'm with you. I'm going to go with you to the better end. But it still was, they were starting to talk. There was some connection there. But this was really just very loose and everything. And even near the end when he's talking about the differences of his daughter, and I love the like, oh, she's very girly. Not to say you're not really girly. And she's like, I'm not girly at all. I was like, okay, good. Like all that, like, so that almost like, that's what I was saying in non-spoilers, that kind of almost made up for some of the critiques I felt with you dealing with I wish we could have got a little bit more of them together. So I liked, at least in the finale, it's like only like a 5-10 minute sequence, but I liked that it was just for a while, just them two. We got talking about losing Sarah again. And he hadn't really talked about that with Ellie, right? Like she talked to him about it.
And that did, right? We just didn't see it, but now we actually got to see it.
And we got that, and then at the very end, we also got her revealing the first time, like her first kill and what happened and stuff like that. So it kind of filled in some of those things that were laid in the past. So I'm a fan that they saved the things for this finale. And again, because now we know there's a season 2, I like that. I feel like it ends like the game where it's a big jump, but it could just be the end, right? It could be, well, these characters go on, he lied to her, and now they go live this life like we were talking about. Like, well, you just make it the best you can. So I like that it's not too cliffhangery. So I'm with you. I liked all the conversations they had. I thought it was very well done and very well acted. These two, as usual, the whole series did a great job. So
yeah, definitely.
Anything else? I'm gonna look through my notes, but I don't know if I have anything.
I got nothing other than I love it's like the reoccurring like Last of Us theme. It seems just like that string guitar and just like a couple little doom doom like get you in like the in the just the theme of the Last of Us. And they didn't overdo it throughout the show, which is really nice because I feel like when they came in, I really felt them, and it was like, oh yeah, this is the apocalypse here.
Anything for you, Taylor?
Oh. Top of my head, can't think of anything.
What about the bottom of your head? What about the bottom of the pizza?
Cordyceps in his head.
Bottom head where the cordyceps are lurking.
The back corner of your head.
I guess just him going off and trying to like make this kind of like wholesome with like the board game and stuff like that. I did enjoy that, and I like how you said like not in like this pathetic kind of way necessarily, because immediately I felt like that he's really just laying it on hard, like he really wants to capitalize on this time here, or at least like maybe. I feel like maybe when I was looking at it wrong, because my interpretation was too like she went through a traumatizing experience that he really wanted to take her mind off of that and like really kind of help her kind of come out of her shell, in the sense like she was just really closed off after experiencing that, rightfully so. So I do like how he was really trying to change it up, but yeah, there was something. It's just him all of a sudden doing this after 8 episodes of just being totally just closed off. It was really weird seeing it, but I did enjoy it. And again, yeah, when the pun book came out, I like that. I like the apocalypse one too. That was like a good creme de la creme pun there for
too soon.
Apocalypse. Yeah.
No, it's topical. It's topical.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good line.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into final thoughts here. Dylan, what are your final thoughts? Last of Us Season 1. Obviously, Season 2 will be happening. We'll be back for that. I think, like we've all said, that'll probably be about 2 years. I always wonder, because I was talking about this with Emily, I guess this weekend, just the characters age a lot more. So it's very interesting where you are in a show, right, where you want to go as fast as possible, but at the same time, there's a time jump and Ellie is older. So it's like, I feel like they're just going to adapt the story to fit a younger character and stuff like that, because I don't think they're going to wait 5 years for Belle Ramsey to age up and stuff, and for Joel to get like a lot more gray. Like, well, luckily with him it's makeup, but with her, even 2 years, like she has a more bigger jump. So that'll be fun once we get news.
Draw a wrinkle on her, like under her eyes.
Yeah, she's getting old. They just deep fake her to be like something else. But obviously, we'll be back for all that at some point. But what do you think of this season alone, Dilmas, from the start to the end?
Yeah, I mean, just very quickly, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of people checking out just the finale. I think people do that for TV shows and stuff. But yeah, I'm notoriously a hater of Naughty Dog's gameplay. And that's why I was so excited for the show, because I can finally get what is by many people considered the greatest video game story of all time, and I can actually ingest it because I don't have to do the nails on the chalkboard gameplay. And I really, really enjoyed the show. It's not perfect. I would have loved maybe 2 more episodes to flesh out that 3-month period for me. But even Travis, what you're saying of like just the acting is so good that even though I felt like I needed more time of the characters and like seeing moments of them building, their performances are so good that's why in this finale I wasn't feeling like that in the moment. But yeah, overall, really, really enjoyed this. I'm glad that I can be on the side of liking the ending, whereas it is a very controversial thing in the history of this thing. And like, I do want to go play part 2. I want to get over that hump of the gameplay, and like I want to see this thing, because I don't really want to wait 2 years to find out all the details. Obviously, a lot of things have been spoiled already on the internet when that game was coming out and the reviews and stuff. But I'm definitely a Last of Us fan. Now really enjoyed this thing, and yeah, I mean I've never even seen Bella Ramsey act before, so just to see her, she's fantastic. Obviously I've seen Pedro and a bunch of things now, but these two together are fantastic, and yeah, I can't wait for 2 years from now when we are going to be back here reviewing the second season of this thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping this week, now that the finale's happened, they'll start to talk about some concrete when that could be, even if it is the confirmation of like, hey, because House of Dragon was like that, like, hey, don't expect this season to be right away. It's going to be at least 2 years, and
Right.
I don't even know, like, I don't even know production wise if there's like something if they do a season 2 and 3, if they kind of like shoot that back to back, they might not do that, but that might be like the smart choice to do something like that. And then plus, if this third game happens, that throws a wrinkle in the thing. So
Yep.
there's tons of things moving, and then we got this multiplayer game. Please don't go the Walking Dead route of giving us a bunch of spin-off shows and stuff. The Last of Us this, The Last of Us that. Just stick with the main show. You know, if you want to do just a spin-off, do a solo episode like a Bill and Frank one of like you know, something's happening and then we go forward.
Or taking the DLC and making it episode 7 of the
exactly.
TV show.
Yeah. Mr. Patzer.
Yeah. So overall, I really really enjoyed this story. I think the performances just boosted it so much. In so much more than it could have been, because like Dylan was saying, I feel like I'm in his camp where I would have just wanted more time to like spend with them bonding, like that 3-month window. I wanted to experience some of that adventure and those bonding moments, because although they had great on-screen chemistry, I think it was still just in the back of my mind. I'm like, I need more time for this. Like I don't know. I just wanted more of it, and maybe that's because it was so good. I you know, I just want more of those amazing scenes that they had. And definitely, I think if we got like 10 episodes, I would have wanted 12. I think for sure, because I don't think that would have been too much. I feel like the flashback episodes wouldn't have felt so like I'm missing out on like some of the story content. But it's a weird dynamic, because I did like those flashback like episodes. They were done well. It's just on the grand scheme, I think I would have wanted a little bit more of just Pedro and Bella together, because yeah, they're fantastic. Although I have some grimes with it. I think I don't love the ending yet, but maybe on like another rewatch, or maybe if I get through the video game, maybe I'll really just feel satisfied with it now. I think I got Shay to agree to go through the game with me on that one, so I think that could be a fun one.
It's not a co-op game, by the way.
No, just experience it together.
There is a co-op one coming out soon, but
yeah. So I think for the show though, I think I'll rate it like 8.5 out of 10. Really really well made. The settings were all really beautiful to look at, and although there wasn't a lot of zombies when they were in there, they were definitely very scary, and like just like the accuracy of like the clickers appearance on screen. I think they did such a great job with it. Yeah, Travis got the cordyceps, so he's the first to go.
He's got the pizza ice cream combo. Yeah,
I had a good time with the show, and can't wait in 2 years to come back.
I think that this was a wonderful way for me to kind of get more familiar with this show, because I only got so far into the games, and not games, only so far into the first game, and getting to be in a position where I could experience points where the game was reflecting the show was reflecting the game. Really, really enjoyed that, and then going beyond that was really, really cool. And it's definitely something that has motivated me to want to continue playing that game, because like as far as like the Uncharted games go, I haven't played the one obviously on PS5, but I love the Uncharted games, and so The Last of Us, like, it really, really sold me. I enjoyed playing the multiplayer too when that was available at the time for the first one, so I'm definitely eager to get back in. I think I have it on my. I got it kicking. It's behind me over there, just sitting there waiting to go on the PS3. But yeah, I think the show though, it was
on the PS3. Oh man,
PS3, yeah. This is just a fantastic experience. I said this in one of the reviews earlier, where they didn't have to rely on the clickers to kind of sell me on this. Like, I feel like The Walking Dead. Well, The Walking Dead has done that before, but like a lot of zombie things, in movies, they sell you on the fact there's all these zombies in there. And that's the kicker. Now, this show has been great because it's been able to accomplish this without a lot of that. However, in the finale, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that, because when we got into that halfway point of the season and the locust horde hole burst open in that little abandoned town, and the flood just came coming out of there, the clicker army. Oh my god, I love that. That was just, Oh, that was great. That was just so good, so good. So I would have loved to have had that in the
Sounds
finale.
like the giraffes.
Yeah.
But
Oof.
giraffes, yeah.
This
Like
grass. Oof.
Am I mad that they didn't put it in the finale? No, I respect the fact that they stuck to the source material and they carried on with that. Totally fine, but
Just the finale, just Joel just kicking ass, just like killing clickers too and everything.
He's riding
Oh,
a
yeah.
giraffe into
Riding a
combat.
The
yeah.
aliens come too. It's just a completely
Yeah.
different story.
Yeah.
I'd probably go like an 8.5 because while I'm with you, Kirklin. There were a lot of things that I liked and a lot of episodes I did really, really enjoy, but there were lots of slow moments too in between, and just there. All in all, there were things that I could have passed and skipped on, but I really, really do like the show a lot, and I think that it's been a perfect fulfillment of my void on Sunday nights, just to kind of like indulge in. So
Back to the void next week, Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing on Sundays.
void, no.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I'm in a tough situation here because it's just I think I have to go with the old faithful that people might hate, that I don't know movie or show or games like perfect, and I think there's like little critiques I have here, but I just don't know if I have enough critiques to just knock anything off. And yeah, I have some love of the game, so I always admit that comes with some of it, but to me it's just like, what an adaptation we got here. Not only adapting the main story, but like we talked about when we got that Bill and Frank episode, doing something completely out of the norm. Not norm, but just out of, that's not anything they had to do, right? And in this pocket of a show, they created like this great story and something could have just went with the zombie adventure. That could have been the clicker kick-ass episode, right? But they didn't. They told a story that stuck. There's other things like I really like the Ellie flashback. And I love Joel and Bella, Joel and Pedro, and then Bella as Ellie. I'm trying to say that that combination is just they any kind of what I was talking about before, any kind of issues I would have, their acting and performances would rise above that and kind of fix those things. And that's why you go out and whoever, Pedro I think was probably an obvious one, but for Bella, whoever that cast director is that probably went through a bunch of young ladies, like, okay, that's the one we're going to use, just a bravo. And all around, the show was casted very well. It was a great vibe. And what I like too is it's not exactly the exact same from the video game. There's little differences, but the vibe, the storytelling is different. So again, this is a score that could change. I'll need to think about it, but I'm just going to drop the big old 10. I just don't think I have enough. I have some things where, I could have wanted more, or that could have been like a little bit better, but there's nothing huge where that's usually where it gets a 0.5 down, where something really bugs me. Nothing really bugs me. And I think this finale, I was kind of waiting because I want to see, okay, how can they pull this off in a TV spectrum? And I thought they knocked it out of the park. And yeah, I'm excited because I will play the game. This isn't like the thing where, okay, now I'm never going to play the game again. I will, because that's a different experience and still a different story. But almost like what Dylan said, this is now the abbreviated version of, hey, I got a lot of games on the go. I got no time to play Last of Us. Well, I could pop that on and watch that for some hours and stuff like that, right? So, Dylan, you could always just watch the Last of 2 cutscene on YouTube, like the cutscene movie. That skips all the gameplay most of the time, if you don't want to play the game.
It's true. I could do that. Yeah.
But then those things are usually
I'll
like
just
18
wait.
hours.
I'll probably just end up waiting. Let's be real.
Because they always say they don't include gameplay, but they definitely do include gameplay, those things. Yeah,
I've
tried.
them. I feel like I've gone through some Mortal Kombat ones for those. So I'm like, I'm never going to buy these games again, but I kind of just want to see the story. And then you just see the one guy getting like a perfect score because he just shows like his little gameplay.
Well, a lot of
snippet
it's the dialogue on the travels and stuff. Like that goes a long way. You can't just skip over it. Travis, that must be your first video game adaptation 10, eh?
Oh, absolutely. I think the
the
highest
first one on the podcast. I feel like Taylor, you're probably gonna give Assassin's Creed a 10, but
the movie at 10.
No, I don't think.
I don't think he
so.
did. I think he was like in the 8 or
Sonic
something.
No, I
movies. I
didn't
don't
give
give that
Halo
a
a
10.
10.
I'm trying to think. This might be the first video game
Maybe,
adaptation 10
yeah.
in Geekverse history.
World of Warcraft. No, 10,
No,
no.
it was close. 9.5. 9.5. No, I honestly think the highest. I think actually probably the highest was The
You guys like
Witcher.
Sonic.
I've never
The
for
Witcher,
me
yeah.
Witcher. Yeah, I've never given it a personal 10 out of 10, but that was the highest. But then before that, movie wise, was I think that Tomb Raider. We joke about it, but I think that was the highest one at that point because I wasn't high as Detective Pikachu and Sonic as some other people were. So, and again, I'm hoping next year because I think the way it's filming, I hope next year the same thing happens with Fallout. Obviously, that's a bit different because I don't think they're going to be
Mario.
that big.
You're forgetting about Mario. That's got 10s
Mario
written all
too.
over it.
Yeah, you're right. We got some good. We're getting that past that era. We're the same thing as comic books where we had a couple there, and then it went we're getting the Iron Man. And maybe to me, I think Last of Us, Witcher is there, but Last of Us, okay, if Witcher was the Iron Man, Last of Us is the Dark Knight. They both came out in 2008. They were both like, okay, this is a new era. And after this, yeah, hopefully Mario, hopefully Fallout, hopefully all this stuff. Hopefully, Taylor, we one day do get that Assassin's Creed Netflix TV show, which I think would be actually like the right way to do Assassin's Creed. So I hope this is it.
At this point, I want HBO to take over all video game like TV shows.
Well, what about Amazon? We haven't seen anything with Fallout.
I mean, Arcane was fantastic.
Witcher's
people
great.
Like people like that Cyberpunk show as well. So I think Netflix is doing a good job.
That's fair.
Over it.
At this point, I don't know what it is, but I just am drawn towards like HBO. Then I'd put Amazon second for their TV show adaptations, and then maybe I gotta immerse myself more in Netflix. And Paramount, you're at the fucking bottom. I'm sorry, you're just down there.
Paramount gave you Sonic though.
What's that?
Paramount
movies?
giving you
Transformer
Sonic.
movies,
I
yeah.
mean,
Taylor.
TV show adaptation versions.
Okay,
TV shows.
fair. Just specifically the show.
Oh fuck no, Master Cheeks.
Well, let's end it on Master Cheeks there. There's no way up but down. So thank you to everyone that tuned in to whether it's one episode or all of them. If it's your first time, if you haven't played the game, thank you because these episodes did above average, which is always good to see. So a big thank you to that. There you go. Castlevania TV show is apparently really
That's
good
true.
too.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but no, a big thank you. It's
yeah.
always like some people tag along. And yeah, if you like this, soon we'll be doing, like we do this now with Mandalorian Weekly. Soon Secret Invasion, I think, will be starting in May and stuff like that. So some of these bigger shows we do. So big thank you to everyone that tuned in. When we hear, and if you're just here for Last of Us, I guess we'll hear from you in a couple of years, and we promise you it'll not be boring.
See ya.
Bye.
Can you imagine that? Just sound like I'm not